Picture this. You step into a porta potty for a moment of peace, cigarette in hand. It's a scene straight out of a comedy sketch, right? You're at a construction site, a festival, or just somewhere without real bathrooms. The need for a quick smoke break is universal. A tiny escape from the chaos of life. You strike a match, thinking you're about to enjoy a few minutes of bliss. Little do you know, you've just turned your porta potty into a ticking time bomb. The match flares up, and for a brief moment you feel like a genius. But surprise, the air around you is filled with methane gas, and you're about to become the star of your own explosive comedy. This is exactly what happened to a man in Germany. He was just like any of us, looking for a moment of peace in his busy day. But instead of peace, he got a front row seat to his own disaster movie. He lit a cigarette inside a methane-filled porta potty and boom, instant fireworks. The blast was so powerful it left the porta potty in ruins and the man with injuries he couldn't survive. Talk about a smoking hot mess. This bizarre incident highlights the hidden dangers lurking in those blue boxes we all take for granted. Porta potties are everywhere, but who knew they could double as explosive devices? This tragedy is a stark reminder that even the most ordinary places can hide extraordinary dangers. It's a wake-up call to be more aware of our surroundings and the risks they might hold, or at least to think twice before lighting up in a porta potty. The man, just going about his daily routine, probably never imagined that his simple act of lighting a cigarette could lead to such a catastrophic and, frankly, ridiculous outcome. It's a sobering thought, but also a bit of a head-scratcher. His story is a cautionary tale, reminding us all of the importance of being aware of flammable substances like methane. Let's educate ourselves and others to prevent such laughable yet tragic incidents. After all, the ultimate price of a smoke break should never be your life or your dignity. Porta potties, those delightful little boxes of convenience, are actually sealed containers where human waste goes to ferment. This lovely fermentation process generates methane, a gas that's as sneaky as a ninja, colorless and odorless. As waste breaks down in the porta potty's cozy confines, methane starts to party, creating an invisible and potentially explosive guest list. The design of a porta potty with its limited ventilation is like a bad joke that just keeps getting worse. With vents that barely breathe, there's nowhere for the methane to escape. It's like a fart in an elevator. This trapped gas, lighter than air, rises and concentrates in the upper portion of the porta potty, turning it into a ticking time bomb. Each flush, instead of solving the problem, just adds more fuel to the fire, making your average porta potty a potential firecracker waiting to go off. Methane, the sneaky little gas often found in natural gas, is like that one friend who's always ready to start a party, highly flammable. Its chemical structure, with one carbon atom bonded to 4 hydrogen atoms, is like a molecular mosh pit, making it super reactive with oxygen. When methane meets an ignition source, like a lit cigarette, it's like throwing a match into a fireworks factory. Boom! Instant party, but not the fun kind. This rapid expansion of gases during combustion is what we call an explosion, or as we like to say, a really bad day. Now imagine this happening in a porta potty. Yep, that's right, the explosive force is magnified in that tiny, smelly box. The walls of the porta potty provide no escape for the rapidly expanding pressure, resulting in a violent outward burst. Talk about a crappy situation. This is why even a small amount of methane, when ignited, can turn your day from bad to worse in a flash. So keep those cigarettes away, folks. So you think lighting up a cigarette in a tiny space is a good idea? Well, think again. That little flame you're holding can turn into a mini inferno faster than you can say fire hazard. Imagine this, you're surrounded by flammable stuff. Paper, dry leaves, maybe even some mysterious chemicals. It's like a pyromaniac's dream come true. Now let's add a porta potty to the mix. Yep, that tiny stinky box with zero ventilation. It's like a sauna, but instead of relaxing, you're playing with fire, literally. In these cozy little spaces, heat and flammable gases love to hang out and have a party. And guess what? You're the uninvited guest who just brought a lit cigarette to the bash. Before you know it, that tiny flame can turn into a raging inferno, and with no oxygen to help you out, you're basically toast. Crispy, smoky toast. Oh, and let's not forget the toxic gases. Carbon monoxide, anyone? It's like the cherry on top of this disastrous sundae. So next time you think about smoking in a confined space, remember, You're not just playing with fire, you're inviting it to a party where you're the main course. Stay safe, folks. Imagine combining smoking and flammable gases like methane. It's like inviting a dragon to a barbecue. Methane, the sneaky gas that loves to hang out in industrial settings, homes, and even nature, is highly flammable. When it decides to throw a party in an enclosed space, the risk of ignition skyrockets. Now add smoking to the mix and you've got open flames and sparks crashing the party, setting the stage for an explosive event. Just one tiny spark from a cigarette lighter or a dropped cigarette butt can make methane go kaboom. The ignition can happen faster than you can say fireball, and the resulting explosion can cause serious injuries, property damage, and even fatalities. The blast can be so powerful, it might just blow your socks off, literally. This fiery reaction happens so quickly, you'd have better luck outrunning a cheetah. That's why it's crucial to avoid creating such a dangerous scenario in the first place. In the blink of an eye, a tiny flame can turn into a raging inferno, devouring everything in its path. Emergency responders always stress the importance of quick evacuation, but in these situations, even the Flash might struggle to get out in time. The German man's unfortunate demise is a grim reminder of what happens when you mix smoking with flammable gases. His story isn't a one-off. Similar accidents have happened around the globe, each one hammering home the need for awareness and caution. Families and communities are left to mourn, and the emotional toll is heavier than a sumo wrestler. His story highlights the importance of understanding the risks of seemingly harmless actions like smoking, especially in places where flammable gases might be lurking. Safety protocols and warning signs aren't just for decoration. They're there to keep you from becoming a human firework. It's essential to be mindful of our surroundings and the hidden hazards that might be waiting to pounce. It's a stark reminder that safety should always be a top priority, even in the most mundane situations. Whether you're at work, at home, or out and about, taking a moment to consider potential risks and acting accordingly can make all the difference. Simple actions like properly disposing of cigarette butts and following safety guidelines can save lives and prevent you from becoming the star of a cautionary tale. The best way to avoid turning your Porta Potty experience into a Michael Bay movie? Simple, don't smoke in or near one. This might seem like a no-brainer, but you'd be surprised how many people need a reminder that Porta Potties aren't the place for a smoke break. Also, keep an eye on your surroundings. You never know when a Porta Potty might decide to go rogue. If you catch a whiff of something funky, get out of there faster than you can say Porta Potty explosion and alert the authorities. Remember, methane is sneaky and odorless, so any weird smell could mean trouble. Better safe than sorry. The lessons here go way beyond just Porta Potties, folks. Any tight space with bad ventilation and a knack for collecting flammable gases, like manholes, storage tanks, or even mines, can be a ticking time bomb. Knowing these dangers and following safety rules is like having a cheat code to avoid disaster. The main takeaway: use your noggin and be careful around fire hazards. Always put safety first, even if it means looking like a safety gear fashion model. And never underestimate how quickly things can go up in flames, especially when flammable stuff is involved. The explosive incident in Germany is a fiery reminder that smoking in a porta potty is a really bad idea. Seriously, folks, lighting up in a tiny enclosed space is like playing with fire. Literally. Let's spread the word and keep our porta potties explosion-free by promoting some common sense. This includes teaching everyone, from kids to adults, that porta potties and cigarettes don't mix. Clear signs saying no smoking near porta potties are a must, because let's face it, nobody wants a bathroom break to end with a bang. Ultimately, preventing such explosive incidents requires a collective effort. We must all take responsibility for our actions and prioritize safety, unless you enjoy unexpected fireworks in the bathroom. By being informed, aware, and proactive, we can avoid turning our porta potties into rocket launchers. Remember, a moment of carelessness can lead to a porta potty catastrophe of epic proportions. Choose safety, choose life, and avoid becoming the next viral porta potty explosion sensation.